Boycott Brahmastra. Really? Why? Have we become such imbeciles that we will boycott just about anything? And have we become so blind in our hatred towards Bollywood that we are ready to boycott Brahmastra, a movie that celebrates our ancient glory? To boycott or not to boycott is an individual call, but let us try and understand the concept of astras first to make a more educated decision about Project Boycott Brahmastra. Namaste. Welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and in this video I'm here to tell you about the concept of astras and boycott Brahmastra. Let's begin. Khadgam chakra gadeshu chapa parikha shulam bhushundi shirah shankha. This is a part of a Devi Stuti which was first sang by Brahmaji. It means Devi has in her hands khadga, chakra, gada, ban, dhanush, parig, shul, bhushundi, a severed head and shank. Let us try and understand these weapons. Number 1. Khadga means sword. It's a close-range hand-to-hand combat weapon. Chakra means spiked discus. It's a long-range weapon which is normally projected onto a target. Gada means mace. It's again close-range hand-to-hand combat weapon. Ban means arrow. It's a long-range weapon which is normally shot onto a target. Dhanush means bow and it is used to shoot arrows. Parig is a special mace. It's a close-range weapon too, used in hand-to-hand fight. Shul means spear. It can be used as a close range as well as a projectile. Trishul is a type of shul. Bhushundi is a type of catapult. It is a long-range weapon. Severed head is not a weapon, but it is supposed to instill fear in the hearts of foes. Shank is again not a weapon. It is blown to mark the start and end of a battle day. It is also blown when a Rathi, Maharathi or an Atirathi goes down in a battle. This excerpt of Devi Mantra is perhaps the best way to understand the concept of Astra, Shastra and other concepts of ancient Indian Ayudh. Out of the 10, first, third and sixth are Shastras. Second, fourth, fifth and eighth are Astras. Ninth and 10th are not weapons. And 7 is both an Astra and a Shastra. Simply put, Shastras need to be held in hand while fighting, although there is a class of Mukta, Mukta that can be thrown as well, but let us not get into the specifics of them. And then there are Astras that need to be used as projectiles or projection systems. For the sake of simplicity, let us only focus on Ban or arrows. The simplest Ban is a Narach, an arrow with a pointed iron head. Most of the arrows shot in any battle were Naraches. In the hand of a skilled bowman, Naraches can be super deadly. For instance, Bhagwan Shri Ram killed Khar, Dushan, Trishra and their army of 14,000 Rakshasas using only Naraches, that too in 72 minutes flat. Whoa, Jai Shri Ram. Then there were divine Bans or Divyastras. These were invoked using mantras. The launch codes of modern-day nukes can be taken as an example to understand the concept of Divyastras. Some of the most potent Divyastras were Agnyastra. This astra used to rain fire on enemy lines. Parjanyastra. This astra used to inundate enemy lines with torrential rains. Vayavyastra. This astra used to blow away enemies with devastating winds. Pannagastra. This astra used to rain venomous snakes on enemy lines. Garudastra. This astra was the antidote of Pannagastra, as snakes used to run away at the mere sight of Pakshiraj Garuda. Brahmastra. The astra of Brahma. This astra was achuk, that is, it won't miss the target. It was not akatya though, which means it could have been neutralized. It could be stopped with another Brahmastra which would lead to widespread destruction. Narayanastra, the astra of Narayan. It was both achuk and akatya. Once fired, it had the power to destroy almost every single soul on the planet. Pashupatastra, the astra of Mahadev. It was both achuk and akatya. Once fired, it had the power to annihilate the whole planet. Very few Dhanurdhars in India's ancient history have possessed the last 3 astras. Divyastras were not weapons made of special material. Their speciality lied in the way of invocation and the degree of damage they caused. Hence, they were virtually theft-proof. Now let's come to the movie and this ludicrous concept called Astraverse. The cool term has been borrowed from Hollywood, who have their DCverse universe with Justice League superheroes and Marvelverse universe with Avengers superheroes. Astraverse, simply put, means a universe of astras. Blah. It didn't even exist in Ramayana or Mahabharata period. Arrows resided in the quivers of Dhanurdhars and Divyastras inside their minds. Brahmastra's main plot point is that a secret society of intellectuals guard astras from falling in the hands of evil people. Brahmastra is the foremost among astras, and Ranveer Kapoor, who plays Rumi, now known as Shiva, is a weapon himself. There are mentions of astras like Vanarastra, which has powers of Hanumanji, and Nandi Astra, which has powers of Bhagwan Shankar's Mount Nandi the Bull. First of all, nothing called Vanarastra has ever been mentioned in any text, and it's super bizarre to even think of something like this. Also, Hanumanji is not supposed to be thrown onto enemies. If anything, it's a mockery of Sri Ram's Param Bhakt Hanumanji. Nandi Astra is again a ridiculous concept. First, some grammar lesson. Nandi ends with Dirgha E and Astra begins with A. So, Dirgha E or Harasva E plus A is not A, it's Ya plus A. That is Adha Ya plus A. For instance, Yadi plus Api becomes Yadyapi. It's Yana Sandhi method of Swara Sandhi class. So Nandi plus Astra should be Nandyastra and not Nandiastra. And just like Vanarastra, nothing called Nandiastra has ever been mentioned in any text, and it's super bizarre to even think of something like this. Also, Nandishwarji is not supposed to be thrown onto enemies. If anything, it is a mockery of Shivji's favorite gun and his chief mount Nandi. If Ranbir Kapoor is playing the role of a Fidain, that is a suicide bomber, then it is justified to call him an Astra, actually self-guided Shastra. In any other case, it is plain stupidity. Also, Brahmastra has been referred to as Sikandar of Astras. I have no idea how Alexander is related to Divyastra, but I'm assuming he has been used to refer to Brahmastra as the king of Astras. Well, it is not. There is no kingdom of Astra, and Brahmastra is a lot less powerful than Narayanastra and Pashupatastra. And again, Alexander, really? All in all, Karan Johar's magnum opus Brahmastra has nothing to do with ancient India's weaponry. It treats Divyastras as purely physical objects and at times as humans, both of which are ridiculous concepts. And this movie is set to demean Hanumanji, Nandishwar, and I don't know how many other Devi Devtas. This movie doesn't need to be boycotted for all the boycott reasons that have been used till now. This movie needs to be boycotted for an absolute lack of common sense, research, and even basic understanding of Bharatiya Ayudh Vigyan. I'll stay a mile away from any theatre that screens it.